Hello, Algebra class, and welcome to this video on section 7.2, multiplying polynomials. So I'm going to show you two things today. The first is how we multiply a monomial times just any polynomial. And the second is how we multiply binomials. And that process, which is also known as foiling, is one of the more important things from this whole section that you're going to be using over and over and over again. All right, so here I have to multiply 3x squared y cubed, that's the monomial, times the polynomial 5x to the second minus xy plus 4y squared. And if you can imagine, the most important thing that we do while we're here is we are going to distribute, okay? We're going to distribute. So let me see just how bad this gets when I'm writing with my hand. Okay, so we're going to distribute the 3x squared y cubed to the 5x squared, and then to the minus 8xy, and to the plus 4y squared. Okay, if I multiply 3x squared y cubed times 5xy squared, let me actually just get rid of this rectangle right there. Yep, that's what that looks like. And a little mark I made, we'll get rid of that too. Okay, so I have 3x squared y cubed times 5xy squared minus 3x squared y cubed times 8xy plus 3x squared y cubed times 4y squared. And of course, I do want to simplify this a little bit. So if I'm multiplying, I can do 3 times 5, which is 15. X squared times x squared is x to the fourth, y cubed. So my blue expression simplifies to this term, 15x to the fourth, y cubed. Now for the middle, minus 3 times an 8 is minus 24. X squared times x, x to the third, y cubed times y is y to the fourth. And then my last term, 3 times 4 is 12. X squared, nothing to combine there. And y to the third times y to the second is y to the fifth. Now, I know everything has an x and a y, but none of these are like terms because the exponents don't match. I have 4x's, 3x's, 2x's. There's nothing that matches. So the last thing I want to make sure is this polynomial in standard form? So let's just check the degree of each term. 4 and 3, this is degree 7. 3 and 4, this is also degree 7. 2 and 5, this is also degree 7. So this is a degree 7 trinomial. And really, the order of the terms doesn't matter if they're all the same degree. However, the OCD nature that I have would say, well, put them in alphabetical order. And I would say 4x's and 3y's comes before 3x's and 4y's, and 2x's and 5y's would be the last thing. But honestly, it doesn't matter as long as all of the three terms have the same degree. It doesn't matter what order you write them in. So this is my final answer of how I multiplied a monomial times a polynomial. Okay, next example. Now we're going to multiply binomials. So in the previous slide, we were thinking about distributing. I have one term that I'm distributing to everything. So now that I have a binomial times a binomial, yes, we're still going to distribute, but there are actually two things that need to be distributed here. So we are going to double distribute. What does that look like? Well, I'm going to distribute the x to the x plus 2 and the minus 5 to the x plus 2. So what exactly do I mean when I double distribute? I have x times x plus 2 minus 5 times x plus 2. And if you think about it, this actually means I have to distribute again. I have to distribute the x. So let me get my marker back. I'm going to distribute the x to the x and the x to the 2, and then the minus 5 to the x and the minus 5 to the 2. So that looks like x times x, that's x squared. X times 2 is plus 2x. Minus 5 times x is minus 5x. And minus 5 times 2 is minus 10. So we've distributed the x to the x to the 2, the negative 5 to the x, and the negative 5 to the 2. And on the next slide, we're going to talk about foiling and what FOIL actually stands for, and kind of a shortcut. So we can kind of skip this middle step right here and go straight from multiplying these polynomials to x squared plus 2x minus 5x minus 10. All right, the last thing that I want to do is combine like terms. My plus 2x and my minus 5x can be combined, and I get x squared minus 3x minus 10. And that is in standard form. This is a degree 2 trinomial, or a quadratic. Quadratic is another adjective that means degree 2, a quadratic trinomial. All right, so a little bit more on foiling. What does FOIL actually stand for? Let's see. Just make sure this all fits. Okay, so the F stands for first. The O stands for outer. That's 1t in outer. The I stands for inner. And the L stands for last. First, outer, inner, last. FOIL. What does that mean? Okay. All right. So if I wanted to multiply x plus 4 times x plus 11, the first thing I'm going to do is multiply the two first terms, x and x. X times x is not 2x, it's x squared. Okay. Then I'm going to multiply, the outer terms. What are the outer terms? The x and the 11. So I've done x times x, and now I'm going to do x times 11. X times 11 is plus 11x. Now the I are the inner. All right, well, if x and 11 are the outer, then 4 and x are the inner. So that's going to be plus 4x. And L are the last terms. Well, x and x were the two first terms, so my two last terms are 4 and 11. And 4 times 11 is 44. So these are my two last terms. Okay, so I've multiplied the two firsts, the two outers, the two inners, and the two lasts. Basically, every combination of two things from this set of four. First, outer, inner, last. Okay, and the last step is to just combine the like terms, where you can combine my outer and inner, and I get x squared plus 15x plus 44. And that is my final answer. This is standard form because I have the degree 2, the degree 1, and the degree 0. This is a degree 2, or a quadratic trinomial. Okay, one more example using FOIL. It's slightly more complicated. Okay, so we are going to, and okay, let me use my finger. This is going a little slow. First, outer, inner, last. My first, x cubed times x squared is not x to the 6th. You multiply two numbers with the same base, you keep the base, and you add the exponents. So it's x to the 5th. My outer, x cubed minus 7 is minus 7x cubed. My inner, 5x times x squared, is not 5x squared. Don't forget, there's an exponent of 1 there, so it's 5x cubed. And my last, negative 7 times 5x is minus 35x. Now when I combine, there's nothing to combine with the x to the 5th, so x to the 5th. Minus 7x cubed plus 5x cubed is minus 2x cubed. Minus 35, I forgot the x, minus 35x. And that's my final answer. It's in standard form. I have degree 5, degree 3, degree, I forgot the x again. Degree 1. So it's standard form. This is a degree 5 trinomial. All right, there is a lot more practice that needs to be done with multiplying binomials and foiling, and we'll do some more of that next time.